and picked it up for purposes of the appeal, and it just remained there. And procedurally, frankly, procedurally, this took forever at times. As you folks might be aware, and I know Mr. Lattimore is probably more aware, things like Freeman May, whenever they've been kicked back, have been much more rapid than this by any stretch. So this is a unique
I'll make a
situation.
motion, if it's all right with you, to proceed with copies using temp force at a rate of $15 per hour, providing the DA approves the person who's selected.
Moved and seconded to assign this copying project to temp force at the rate of $15 an hour. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's our choice.
All right, thank you very much.
So-
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Sorry.
This Rodney Martin, Carol King case, this is a case of the murder of the florist in Palmyra years ago?
That's correct.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So, and, sorry,
I just wanted to be clear on who would be getting copies. You mentioned.
myself and Chris Walters.
And is he also representing King?
No, he is my co-counsel for Martin.
But then.
He is my procedural history, bar none.
Okay.
He knows the history of the
Right.
case and the people involved.
But then do we kind of expect cost associated with the King portion? Is she doing the same appeal
I would,
process?
if you held a gun to my head, I think the creative solution is, by the time Carolyn King comes back, if I have copies of everything and haven't let my dog chew on them, whomever is appointed for Carolyn King would ultimately be able to make those copies here in-house, potentially on our machine. All because we can't talk about the case doesn't mean that we can't then, save resources even further. At some point, they have to be duplicated.
And did you come in here, Commissioner Litz was putting together some math numbers. Did you come in here with an estimate of the cost of this?
He gave
I
us a
had-
letter, John.
I had sent the commissioners a letter. The original base cost was $38 per hour from Phillips. I had gone in and done, as I indicated, some amount of scanning, but not knowing how fast or how different somebody else's efforts or skill level would be was really hard for me to approximate.
Were you comfortable with Commissioner Litz's math then? You mentioned.
I would
10
point out,
as much
I
as-
would point out I went to law school and I avoided tax classes. So whenever other
Leave it
people
up
do
to her,
math,
right?
if she's going to trust me on how many pages I scanned because I used a calculator, I'm going to trust her on the breakdown of that.
Jamie and Dennis both have a copy of my calculations if you care to proof them for me, because I'm not an expert, but I
But
did
it
some
sounded
basic.
reasonable.
I did
Okay.
some basic math and came up with some pretty big numbers.
Having sat there and done it, her math seemed pretty reasonable because, frankly, like I said, I think some of my time was spent going,
Sure.
what does this police report say? Which detracts from the whole purpose of me being.
But it definitely is a lengthy process, no matter who does it.
Right, and that's part of why I thought it best to get the photos from Phil and provide you at least with bad black and whites to at least get a sense.
And this may be difficult for you to answer, but what kind of timeline are we on? First of all, a definitive answer from the district attorney about whether he'll take the plea or not, and then, when do you expect really to be in front of Judge Edie?
He has us coming back August. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I wanna say August 19th because it's near my wife's birthday. I just know it's that we're going to have another status conference, and I think that we may be looking at sometime next year.
So when does this copy process have to happen? I'm still confused about that.
Well, if I walked down and knocked on Dave's door and said, "Hey, will you take a life plea from both of them?" I probably contact Jamie this afternoon, going, "Whoo, we just saved a bunch of money." And there's other money that would then be saved as well.
Sure.
But ultimately, our responsibility is to attempt a resolution in our client's best interest. So that will always be an avenue that we pursue. And frankly, I think that we probably have a window where Temp Force is going to identify individuals that can perform the work. And then there'll be a window where Dave will review those people and approve them. So that's really our window that's sort of our, point of no return is once we clear
start,
that,
right, okay.
right.
All right.
But we
Kinda
could
like that old
stop
Jack
it
Klugman.
if we do get an okay.
Absolutely.
Then we can cut the cost down.
Kind of like that old Jack Klugman movie, Fail